All right, the game just went final. Chiefs 22, Falcons 17, and kind of a weird game if we're being honest. A lot to discuss. A lot of people are going to focus on the no PI call on the second to last drive on Kyle Pitts. Certainly some validity there, but I'm going to tell you why that wasn't the difference in the game. Before we get to that, subscribe to Verts for free. I'm bringing you daily NFL content on a daily basis. We've crossed 2,600 subscribers. Would love to get to 3,000 ASAP. My name is Harrison Graham. Let's get this thing rolling. All right, Chiefs 22, Falcons 17, and Kansas City's defense hangs on. Steve Spagnuolo, one of the more underrated defensive coordinators in the sport, in the history of the sport, 4 Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator, and they get 2 big stops down the stretch. Now, I want to go to the controversy that I'm sure Falcons fans and Chiefs haters are going to bring up, and validity. Kyle Pitts definitely got hit early on the end zone shot. It was 3rd and 5 at about the 12, I think. And it's kind of a little, what's the word, the route pattern? Kind of a little stop and go inside the 10, if you will, a little seam shot. And Brian Cook, I believe, the Chiefs safety, clearly gets there early. There's no question about it. Face guards Pitts, doesn't play the ball. It should have been called. Now, a couple things I do want to mention. One, the ball is criminally underthrown by Cousins. If he throws it high and in stride where Pitts doesn't have to come back toward the field of play to catch it, it's a touchdown no matter what. So, I'm not saying it was such an egregious underthrow that it shouldn't have been a PI, but a better ball and it's a touchdown regardless. That's number one. Number two, the Falcons had their chances. So on 4th and 5, they easily could have kicked there to cut it to 2. There was over 4 minutes left. They got the ball back, and they drove it down again. So if they would have kicked there, all they would have needed on that last drive was a field goal. Instead, they have to go for it on 4th, and Nick Bolton stuffs Bijan Robinson on 3rd and 4th down, I believe. For sure on 4th down it was Bolton. Not sure on 3rd. But so that's one thing. And 2, we've seen this for a couple of years now with the Chiefs. They kind of lack the killer instinct in the regular season. You can't say that Kirk Cousins and the Falcons didn't have opportunities. I mean, Kirk Cousins has Drake London on a deep ball down the left sideline with about 90 seconds to go, just flat out underthrows him by 5 yards. If he hits him in stride, it's a 45-yard touchdown. So, yeah, people are going to bitch. People are going to say that was a bullshit call. And, yeah, they missed the call. They also kind of gave the Falcons a couple of makeup calls on their final drive that helped put them in field position to have a chance to win. Like the one PI away from the ball, it's like that's a makeup call. Everybody knows it. I get it. It's not in the end zone. It's a different deal. But look, you got to go take these games when you're playing the Chiefs. And let's face it, they give you opportunities. This game really should not have been hanging in the balance. But again, the Chiefs kind of lack that killer instinct, as we've seen for a couple of years now. They're kind of like the Warriors, where in the regular season, as long as they win enough games to make the playoffs, they really don't care. That's when they ramp it up. I'm not saying they don't care, but like they know when it's time to ramp up. I mean, they ran 72 plays to the Falcons 56, and the Falcons ran about 15 to 20 plays in the last 6 to 7 minutes. They were doubling up the Falcons in plays for a while. Time of possession was heavily in their favor for a while. Still ended up 35-25. This easily could have been a, 14-point win for Kansas City, but Atlanta hung around. Chiefs couldn't put it away. And the Falcons had 2 drives with the chance to win the game late. Or, like I said, if Raheem Morris elects to kick a field goal the first time with over 4 minutes left, I appreciate aggressiveness, but I felt like that was an opportunity to cut it to 2 and still get the ball back and have a field goal chance to win. They could have won that way as well. So, yeah, again, unfortunate missed call, but it's not like it was the last play of the game or something like that. It was on the second to last drive, and it wasn't even 4th down. The Falcons had options, they had chances, and they didn't get the job done. And that's the bottom line. It's kind of a missed opportunity for Atlanta. They steal one last week from Philadelphia. Tonight, they can't quite do it. and they fall to 1-2. Chiefs improve to 3-0. Cousins throws for 230 and a touch and a pick in this game. Nice game from Drake London, 67 yards and a touchdown, but it's not quite clicking yet. Like I said, that deep ball down the left sideline, if Kirk gives him a good ball, that's probably a touchdown. The Chiefs just absolutely stuffed the run tonight. Bijan Robinson, 16 carries, 31 yards. Tyler Algier ran better, 7 for 32, but as a whole, Atlanta ran it 25 times for 82 yards. The Chiefs grinded out some tough yards. Carson Steele, 72 yards and 17 carries. Remember, no Pacheco. Samaje Perine added 25 yards rushing. And I'll tell you what, for the Chiefs, and as they ramp up throughout the season and, as we get closer to the playoffs, they'll really try to kick it up a notch. Rashee Rice, if this guy can just keep his head on straight, he could be a top 5 receiver in this league if he's not there already. 12 catches, 110 yards, touchdown. In the underneath intermediate game, he is just lethal as a route runner. He really is. I mean, you cannot defend this guy one-on-one. He might catch 125 balls this year. I mean, he is absolutely nasty as a route runner. He's not the most explosive guy. He's not the fastest guy, but he's very quick, and he runs very good routes. I mean, he's a perfect receiver for Mahomes. It's just like, find the open space, I'm going to get you the ball. That's what this guy does. There's still some miscommunications going on with Xavier Worthy, after the Chiefs got that 4th down stop on the second to last drive, on a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, they ran a shallow cross, and Worthy sits down thinking it's in the open space, and Mahomes threw it as if he was going to keep running, and if he kept running, he might still be running. I mean, he might have caught that on the fly and taken it 75 yards, so there's still some of that veteran quarterback playing with the rookie receiver chemistry that needs to be built there. So certainly some things Kansas City would like to clean up. Travis Kelce, still a pretty quiet start to the year, 4 catches, 30 yards. He's clearly not Pete Kelce anymore. I think this is going to be one of those slow ramp-ups throughout the season. He had a couple nice catches tonight, had a deep crosser for about 17 or so, but he's not chasing 1,000-yard seasons anymore. He's preserving his body for November, December, and ultimately January and February. He's playing for one reason and one reason only, to win Lombardi trophies. He's not interested in the Falcons in Week 3 on Sunday Night Football. That's not what he's playing for anymore. So Chiefs get it done. Juju with the touchdown tonight for KC. That's an interesting development. And Nick Bolton. He's not great in coverage, but man, can he stuff the run. Game-winning tackle, 3 TFLs in the night. He's just a winning player. He really is. He's just flat out a winning player, and we'll see if he's a Chief long term. But we'll have to make a decision there. He's final year of his rookie contract, I believe. But yeah, that was impressive to watch. Let me know in the comments. Did the Falcons get screwed? Yes or no? I don't think they got screwed from the game. Certainly a bad call, but I think the Falcons would tell you, yeah, we had our chances here. All right, do want to hit some of the afternoon games that we didn't completely touch on earlier before we get out of here. When we filmed earlier, the Ravens were bludgeoning Dallas 28-8 early second half, and then it was 28-8 entering the fourth, and Dallas goes on a ferocious comeback, but ultimately loses 28-25. 28-6 actually, maybe entering the fourth. I can't remember now. Yeah, I think it was 28-6. So apologies for the typo there. But Lamar Jackson, couple of clutch plays to get first downs once they got up 28-25 to put the game away. I feel like neither of these teams are playing great football right now. Dallas's defense, granted, they got some stops late to get back into it, but they've been a mess under Mike Zimmer so far. Got bludgeoned by New Orleans last week, who barely could function today, and really struggled for much of this game today. They've never done well with mobile quarterbacks. That continued today. Lamar had a field day. What did he rush for? He rushed for 87 yards on 14 carries, and Derrick Henry had his best game as a Raven. 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. And did you guys see Jerry Jones' comments after the game? He was asked, do you regret not signing Derrick Henry? And he said the Cowboys couldn't afford him. just so people know the truth about that situation, because the Cowboys running back room is Zeke Elliott, Rico Dowdle, and Deuce Vaughn. It is easily the worst running back room in the NFL, at least in terms of players. There's been some bad running teams. The Bears have been abysmal. But on paper, that's a pretty bad trio. Derrick Henry is making $8 million per year. His cap hit is just over $5 million bucks. The Cowboys have $24 million in cap space. If they wanted Derrick Henry, they could have signed him. So, Jerry Jones thinks he's smooth and thinks he can get away with the rhetoric he spews out there about managing a salary cap and this and that. You're not fooling anybody. Like, they could have signed Derrick Henry. Now, I'm not saying they should have or anything. I think he would have helped Dallas, but to act like that was an impossible scenario for Dallas is not the case. So big win for Baltimore. Can't fall to 0-3. So they get their first win of the year, get to 1-2, and the Cowboys fall to 1-2. So we'll see where those teams go moving forward. Rams, maybe the win of the year in the NFL. They are beat to shit, and they were getting outplayed, outclassed for much of this game. The 49ers were up 21-7 at one point, and the Rams just hung around, stayed in it, scored 10 points in the final 3 minutes, got an assist from a missed Jake Moody field goal in that stretch in the final 5 or 6 minutes as well to beat the 49ers 27-24, again to avoid that 0-3 start. I mean, what a monumental win for LA. And if you're the Rams, all of a sudden you've got life, because you go to Chicago next week. They're a mess offensively. Believe me, I watch every snap of every game for the Bears. It's been better second half, but it's been ugly. Sean McVay if you have McVay and Stafford, you have a chance. Just the coaching is so important in this league. And I got to tell you, something feels off with the 49ers. Nick Sorensen, their new defensive coordinator who they promoted, he doesn't seem to know what he's doing. You just waste an all-time performance from Jawan Jennings, former seventh-round pick. I think he had $175 and 3 touchdowns from Brock Purdy today. Man, that's a tough one if you're San Francisco. This game was in the bag, and they couldn't seal the deal. Lions get back on track. They took down the Cardinals 20-13 in Arizona. All 20 points in the first half. So still not a complete game yet from Detroit, but they're 2-1 after beating the Rams in overtime in week 1, losing last week, getting back on track this week. Cardinals fall to 1-2. Good news for Detroit is they didn't score in the second half. Well, their defense held Arizona to 3 points at Arizona in the second half. So pretty strong defensive performance there from Detroit. Jared Goff's been a little hit and miss early on this year, but if he can get things going. They had one of the sweetest plays, by the way. Goff threw like a 15-yard in route, one of his patented throws, over the middle. And then Jahmyr Gibbs was coming underneath the play. Right as it was caught by the receiver, lateral to Gibbs, kind of wheeling behind him for a walk-in, 30-yard touchdown. It was pretty sweet. It was one of the plays of the year, I'd say. That was pretty fun to watch. Ben Johnson, creative offensive mind. We'll see if this next offseason's the year he decides to become a head coach. But week 3 mostly in the books. Got a doubleheader on Monday night tomorrow. I think the next 2 weeks there's a doubleheader. Got Jags-Bills, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Jags 0-2, another desperate team trying not to fall to 0-3. Bills 2-0. We'll see if the Bills come out focused and try to get to that 3-0 mark. And then the Bengals, another 0-2 team facing the 1-1 Commanders. Battle of LSU Heisman Trophy winners Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels. Gotta think Cincinnati's going to come out pretty juiced, right? I mean, they should have beat the Chiefs last week, and they know they can't fall to 0-3. It's at home in prime time. I kind of like Cincinnati big in that game. I think the other game will be close, but I do like Buffalo there as well. And if that happens, Doug Peterson at 0-3, he could be in trouble, and he could be in trouble fast. All right, there you have it. 4 Verts, a little Sunday Night Football reaction, some afternoon slate takeaways as well. My name is Harrison Graham. Football is back. We're rolling along. September. Before you know it, it'll be October. We'll have some Monday Night Football reaction tomorrow night. Probably a little overreaction video during the day tomorrow. Some interesting topics I want to hit on, so Turn on those notifications as well after you subscribe. We appreciate all the love and support. My name is Harrison Graham. We will see you guys next time, which will be tomorrow here on Four Verts.